Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news making headlines today. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung will hold a summit with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan on Monday. President Lee is making a 2-day state visit to Turkey for Monday, his last stop on a 10-day, four-nation tour. The two leaders are expected to discuss strengthening Seoul and anchor a strategic partnership in defense, nuclear energy, and biotechnology. Before the summit, Lee visited Ankara, where Turkey's founder and first President Mustafa Kemal Atatürk is laid to rest. The number of Seoul residents in their 30s who own their own homes dropped to a record low in 2024. According to the Ministry of Data and Statistics, more than 527,000 people in their 30s in Seoul were not homeowners, while only 1 in 4 people in that age group owned their homes. Experts say the drop reflects a trend of couples getting married later, a rise in the number of people living alone, and limited supply. And due to soaring house prices, many young adults are finding it increasingly difficult to take their first step into Seoul's housing market. Amid growing concerns over the South Korean won's depreciation against the U.S. dollar, the government's latest course of action involves reviewing the National Pension Service's overseas investments. To this end, the Ministry of Economy and Finance, the Ministry of Health and Welfare, the Bank of Korea, and the MPS convened their first four-party consultative meeting on Monday and said they discussed ways to balance maintaining the pension fund's profitability while securing stability in the foreign exchange market. This comes as the South Korean won weakened further on Monday, closing the regular trading session at 1,477.11 against the dollar, down 1.51 from the previous session. Less than 3 days are left until South Korea's homegrown Nuri rocket blasts off for the 4th time from Gyeonggi County in Jeollanam-do Province. According to the Korea Aerospace Administration on Monday, preparations are progressing smoothly, including the final rocket assembly. After Nuri is moved to the launch pad on Tuesday, it will then undergo all remaining processes required for the actual liftoff, including those needed for fueling. The main mission of the launch is to place the main satellite into orbit at an altitude of 600 kilometers within an air range of about 6%. The United States and Ukraine stated that an updated and refined peace framework has been created after negotiating delegations met at the U.S. mission in Geneva. This comes in efforts to end the nearly 4-year-long war between Russia and Ukraine. In a joint statement released on Sunday, though no specifics were mentioned, both sides mentioned that their discussions were highly productive and that any future agreement must fully guarantee Ukraine's sovereignty. As the two sides narrow down on a final decision, talks are to continue in the coming days with Trump pressing Zelensky to approve the plan by Thursday. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.